Hello. Let's see. Is this working? It should be. It should be. Is it saying Ultimate Admiral Dreadnought? No, it's not. Oh, that's annoying. Quickly get that changed. Dreadnoughts done. And yes. Hello, everyone. How are we all doing? I hope you're well. I hope you're enjoying life. I'm not sure if anyone is watching. But yes, I'm live. That's always fun. Slightly later than I usually am on a Friday, but that's because I've been having a fun week. And I thought I would do this stream today, but I'm going to start off by apologising now in advance. This might not be as long as I normally aimed at, or it's even scheduled to be, because I'm still getting over, for want of a better phrase, my sister's cooking from Wednesday night. It caused me to not do the scheduled live I normally do on my channel on Thursday, and the recorded video, it's taken me all day to actually put together between dashes backwards and forwards. So, being practically honest, rather rudely honest in a way, and so this might not be as long as it normally is, but in which case I will do another recording tomorrow to make up for it, because there is a few days coming up where I will be away, because I will be travelling in that great urban jungle known as London. So I will probably be spending a fair amount of time, as I'm staying up there for a few days, wandering around the joyous thing that is HMS Belfast, and having a good look at her and enjoying my time aboard her. Now, today, it's Ultimate Admiral's Dreadnought. Yes! And, no, I don't need to take any more. It's been an interesting day, because the videos I've been recording have all been sort of using books like this, Convoys in the Napoleonic Era, and Nicholas Rogers, and etc., all those things, because I've been doing Age of Sail stuff. And now, it's Dreadnought stuff, and Dreadnought stuff is fun. Dreadnought stuff is fun. And, well, yes, last time I did create inadvertently a Super Dreadnought, a Super Bismarck. I didn't intend to create a super vessel, but I did. I'm still not quite sure how I did, but I did. Somehow I created a super vessel. Hello, Icy Gentleman, how are you doing? And, yeah, that was fun to deal with. This is Canopus, which is armed with... what was she armed with again? 16-inch guns. This is of course my King George V if I'd been in charge of constructing it, and I'd had not had to worry about it. Yeah, but there was an interesting question put through about that, because of course I've done Archincord with these 18-inch guns. And someone turned around to me and said, well, quadruple 18-inch guns. What would have been, it would have been like if it had been your super Queen Elizabeth class versus this vessel. And it was a case of, I'm not sure. What would it have been like? A super, an absolutely super Queen Elizabeth versus the super, Bismarck. Hello, Kingsrook. How is everyone doing today? And well, so I thought, well, I'll build it and see, because that's the great thing about this game. You can just build the ships. And if I remember correctly, I put another one there, because I did that. And I wonder if I can get the 16-inch under there. Right, go over that to the guns, and let's make sure they're 16.5-inch guns, because that's what they would be. And what are these? These are 43... Oh. 16.5-inch 42s. Yeah, that's better. They're 16.5-inch 42s now. So they're maximum... they're good, quite good. Right, I now need to stick something on here which can actually support or do the job. That can fit just about, but that's interesting for this time period. But let's be honest, let's say this has been modernized. We'll sort out everything else in a bit. Just move this around. Move this a bit more that way. Move this a bit more that way. That should remove that. Okay. Oh. Oh, that's problematic. Let's see if I can go to smaller one. Oh, no, that's too small. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, same stuff, different day. Sounds like a fairly regular experience, at King's Rook. I haven't put in a funnel yet. I need to put in a funnel. Full weight offset is looking pretty heavy at the moment. We'll see. Geared turbines. Engine efficiencies are already fine. Let's see. Now, if I can take the beam down as narrow as I can get it. Should I wait? Can I take the draft down any narrower? Ooh, now that gun is not liking its position. Let's see. That is trying to build it to be as capable as it can be. Let's see, we've got standard bulkheads. We need a... let's have a triple hull. Let's see what we can do with this vessel. Range down to that should be about enough. Still 4,000 tons over. Hello, Garrus. Stop fashion. Look, I've made her very slinky. She's very, very slinky. I mean, seriously, this is a slinky. This is a slinky with linky. That's one of my friends put. How are you doing, Garrus? Let's do that. Electro hydro and standard ratio. We're definitely upgrading the shells to the best we can get them. TNT 4 will do. And she's still too fat, and she's got no secondaries. But let's see what we can do. We got 16.5. We put a 14-inch main belt, wouldn't we? Because let's be honest, I think if I remember correctly, I said if it was 16.5-inch guns, it would be a 14.3, and I decided to go with 14.5-inch main belt. Seven. A deck of 10 inches. Goodness gracious, what does this game think these ships were made of? I don't know, you know, it's just in the nicest way in the world of all these things. It's a 3-inch deck on most ships. So nice way. I'm going to put 4 inches and be happy with it. I'm going to be good. I'm going to put 4 inches across the whole deck, but that's, you know, because I'm being nice. And a 1-inch, 2-inch superstructure, because this is the way this game works for mechanics. Inner deck, inner belt. Inner belt is going to be like 4, 2, 1. And inner deck is going to be 2, 1, and that's going to be nothing. So we're now down. We're still 4,000 tons overweight. Well, let's be honest. The turrets are never going to be that heavy. Again, they're going to be 14 inches. They need to actually move, and well, in real life they were 11 inches, so actually they got the turrets under what they'd probably be on that one. That's limiting to 11.2. Why? Okay, we'll go with 11, because that's historically what they put on top of them. And barbettes, oh, we'll take that down to 12 inches. Still fat. Still fat. Ah. Oh. Hope you're feeling. Hope both you and King's Rook are feeling better, Garius. So let's see. What are we going to do to reduce the weight? Now, ideally, we won't need to reduce the weight enough. We can put some secondaries in on this thing. So, let's start off with reinforced bulkheads down to level 1. Triple hull down to double. Anti-torpedo 3 down to anti-torpedo 4. Barbette 5 down to barbette 4. And anti-flood down to 2. Oh, we're now only 1,000 tons over. We haven't got an auxiliary engine. That does take us up to 2,000 tons over, but still, we can start working on these things. Right then. Let's take that down to 3. That down to 3. Anti-flood down to 1, and we're down to 37,356 tons, which means we're okay. Full weight offset is still 9.7%. Okay. So now we're down to 36,000 tons. We've only got a range of 14,000 kilometers. And look at that. That's what's going to worry me. That position. The fact that that's like that. I'd really like it more center of mass. That's as far back as that can be. Can you not fire backwards? Do I need to raise you up a bit to fire you backwards? Can I find a small barbette? I think I'm going to have to increase up the draft again. Because now she can fire over there. Yeah, now fire. So engine efficiency is pretty darn decent. I want to check the gun can fire aft. Yes, the gun can fire aft. Does that work for me? Well, that does actually reduce the full weight offset by down to 9.5%. Rolls at 12.7%, which is fairly decent. Can I reduce the full weight in any other way, shape or form? And actually that works better with that layout of that mast. Although that is a dinky little mast. And oh, I've got a few thousand tons to play with now. Oh, I can do things. I can do things for this. Right then, where is my 4-inch that I tend to modify to various other naughty things? And that's gonna affect the full weight. It's gonna go up. But yeah, going down there. There, and the 4-inch guns are going up to 4.5-inch, and if I remember correctly, oh good lord, they're at 36. They need to be about 43. Hey, caramba! It's about 20%. Yeah, that's at 43. Now, why is there some red going on here? Ah, it's these. Let's replace them. Ooh, that's good. Pitch is now at 24% now, but still, I think that would work. Right. So, this is a slightly irregularly modified, upgraded Queen Elizabeth, Super Queen Elizabeth. Hey, Garzon. More Oricons. You want the Bofors. Okay, let's add in the Bofors. I will be indulgent. And yeah, we need some. We need to get some more. Oh. Can I get some singles? No, I can't mount it. These turrets aren't big enough for me to mount singles on top of them. Just terrible. Terrible. The odds of them having to fire directly aft are low. So you know that's why I put that there. That's what I'm going to claim anyway. And we need to make these kind of like the Oriclons. So if we take them down, let's see, 1 inch is 25 millimeters, 25.4. 40 millimeters, therefore, is going to be 1 and 3/5, so 1.6. And they are much caliber. Oh, good lord, not 37s. Why is it you keep making them 37s? I'll have to do, because that's, I think, the most you'll give me. It's plus 16. There we go. Hala Malaga. Ay, caramba. Right then. So, this is our battleship for this evening. We can all be slightly worried about her. I know I am. I think she, if I can upgrade that. So apparently pitch goes up depending on how dense I make the hull. That's always good. Hopefully it works. Now let's go and check out our opponent, who last time was absolutely evil because she does have that wonderful armor scheme known as Turtleback. Which basically does seem to make her functionally impossible to sink. Functionally. We will see what we can do about that. We will see what we can do. But no, this is our contender. And so, let's see. I haven't fixed the problem of all the battleships need to charge each other like their destroyers in the melee combat. The only way I can fix that is if I take personal command. And I do that, but I do have to take personal command. And if I just quickly move this, so I'm in the middle. Hey, come back here. My own flagship was getting away from me. Look at how far she goes at 30 times speed. If the Royal Navy had actually had a battleship that went this fast, they would have never introduced Formula 1 racing. No, these are 43 calibers because that's the maximum they allow me to get. The thing is, though, the one advantage is she is almost a machine gun battleship because she's got 15 shots fired to this one's 8. So theoretically, if she can keep it up, she's firing a lot more shells. But she's on fire already. Oh, good lord, they're not closing, are they? Destroyed main tower, fire. Yeah. And now we can't see the enemy because we've managed to destroy our main tower. Goodness gracious me, that's a lot of damage. Yeah. I have a feeling this one, Admiral Beatty is in charge, yes. So this is a refitted. I don't think she's yet to score a single hit on the German ship. Which is really interesting. But also, for her, she's lost her entire main tower and yet is structurally 95% fine, which shows how little effort I put into that main tower. I really should have done something more. Sail towards the sound of the guns, always. She's still going at full speed. Although, they don't appear... I wonder if the recent update has managed to fix this. Because they're not closing. Normally, they would be at this point, would be closing like anything. But not closing. Also, consider that last time the German battleship was pretty much, I don't know, Ching Li in terms of accuracy, and this time, yeah, it's missing. Can you build the Iowa in this game, or are her systems too late down the line? You can build a pseudo Iowa, a 1940s Iowa, but she's interesting. She's not the full Iowa. This looks like it's out for a Sunday sale. I don't think this one's been hit yet. Now you're keeping to range. And it's the time when you've lost your mast so you can't do the engagement at range. Aye, good lord. Pre-Dreadnought doing 23, 25 knots in World War II. Depends what you want it to do. If you want it to go and fight the enemy's main battle fleet, no. If you want it to escort a convoy, yeah, pre-Dreadnought possibly depends on the pre-Dreadnought you're talking about. If it's an early pre-Dreadnought, i.e. a pure Sovereign class, something like that, then no. That would probably not be able to win a fight versus a Panzer Chief. But if it's a later one, a Lord Nelson-esque one, yeah, that would probably win the battle against a Panzer Chief. From the patch notes from the 21st, further battle AI adjustments to fight at more effective ranges. Yeah, it's finally sort of working. Lord Nelson-esque with auto-loading turrets. That would be a good way to probably take care of some Scharnhorsts. Auto-loading turrets are dangerous. Now, there may be a way we actually win this battle, because what might happen is they run out of ammunition before we do, because we can't fire at them. Because their accuracy appears to be that bad. But if their accuracy improves, we're getting snookered. Oh, good lord, we have possibly done some damage. Very minor. And again, I'm missing. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to go fix the issue. Let's fix the issue that I managed to introduce in this ship. So what did I do? Let's make the beam as fat as we can. And then go to main tower. We can't fit that one that size. Can we fit one with this many hit points? Not with those there. Okay, so that's the secondary of the secondary main power main towers. How thin can we make it with this? Still fatter, but that's not necessarily the most worst because that's giving me a engine efficiency is at 0%. That's not necessarily that good. That's way too much weight. That's fine and does take me down. I've still got all the radar, acoustics and all those things fitted, so that's good. But I'm now 100 tons overweight, so I need to get rid of 100 tons. How are we going to get rid of 100 tons? I've got veterans. I've got... range is fine now. 15,000 kilometers is roughly right. The fact that they've got the superstructure being taken out in a single shot worries me. Because the whole point is really the superstructure. If that gets hit, it should just go straight through it. Full weight offset, 2.3% now. That's good. That's going to improve my accuracy. And now I've got 4.0 or full weight off at 3.7%. Engine efficiency, and I've got about roughly 120 tons. So leave that there. Put that there. That should do. That's looking fairly decent. Right then, let's go and check out our German counterpart to find out well, exactly where their super firing capability is coming from. This is pretty much as good as Bismarck could be built. So that's 15-inch. They're 15-inch 51s. Bismarck was armed with... let me just check. Check my own maths. Always worth hard checking. And yeah, 51.62 calibers. So yes, that's right. That's right. Oh, it's closer to that. Yeah, all these things are right for them. So this is Bismarck, as good as Bismarck could be built with the German industry. So basically it's saying World War I happens as expected. Electro-hydro turrets. Hang on, they had... I think they had... oh, hang on. Let me see. Is that what I've done? Have I given them the super turrets? Because they had... that could be it. And let's see. They were using... what shells? I've given them the same level shells as I've got. And their actual shells they were firing were... they do have cap ballistic for high explosive. And for 19th for Battle of Denmark Straits, the shell unit, would it be that one or that one? It's the trouble. You're sitting there looking at it going, I'm going to leave it at that because that's fairer. Yeah, that's roughly... hang on, no, they had... what were they using? Well, they were using pitric acid. Or were they using TNT? They were using citric acid, I think. I thought, well, I think that's closer. What they're saying in the game, citric acid equates to, I think, equates closer to what the Germans were using for their explosive. And they've got enhanced reloading, which is fine. Standard shells, increased AP. Hang on, did they have increased HP or increased high explosive? The British had a standard ratio. The Americans had the that. The Japanese tended to have that, broadly speaking, and the Italians would have be closer to standard ratio for what they're saying in this game. And again, because we always try to translate the history to the thing, to the game, so it's always okay working out. Yay, free ads. Ooh, there are free ads. Actually, speaking of free advertising. Okay, yeah, I've given them spacious quarters. That was definitely not true. So yeah, that I'm not sure why that's and put bulkheads down to many. That's more likely, and yeah, that's more like it. So, and I've given them modern 2 armor. Okay, I'll give them a modern 2 armor because I'm not going to, if in doubt, I'm always going to give the enemy an advantage. Because that's fairer, and that means you get more accurate results as a rule. When you're not 100% sure which way to go, give the enemy the same level as you, because just presume they're roughly equal. Although I do know British and American armor was probably better than their German counterpart. The Italian armor is pretty darn decent, and the Japanese armor is certainly something special. Here she goes again. Let's go towards the action. There are some ads playing. Lord Nelson-esque with auto-loading turrets. The auto-loading turrets are what scare the life out of me. Let's see, how's it going? Oh, have you noticed there's a trough keep forming up at the back here every now and again on the waves? Especially when she's turning, there's a trough. It does a fairly accurate simulation of these things. Oh. Fire forward. Now, of course, this entire simulation is done with the presumption that they leave all 5 turrets on the ship, and they don't do what the Italians did and drop a 5th turret to do the upgrade, etc. That they left it as 15, 16.5-inch guns. Let's be honest, if you did have 15, 16.5-inch guns, and that was what you left it as, and still had it around in this period, you would be in a very interesting scenario. I have a feeling at that point, though, I have a feeling that the maximum treaty limit would have been set at 16.5-inch guns. Yeah, there are hangar doors on the back of the main tower. Because it's a standardized design, even though I have no ability to launch aircraft there. I suppose I could just point the turret out and then fire, then get an aircraft off, but, you know, I don't think I'd want to move the turret every time I wanted to launch or recover an aircraft. I don't think I'd have aircraft on the ship. Let's see. Identifying at 87%. As you can see, they do have their launching system here. I think that's what that's designed to look like. And that would fit up with the sort of hangars they have at various points. It's fun. Let's go back to irresistible. Yep. Again, the Germans are just so accurate at long range. This thing's got good radar. No, but of course the other option is you take out the central turret. You put in the enhanced secondaries all over it. You stick in the enhanced secondary tower. You probably shift the make sure the funnel's shifted aft, and you go for it that way. Could end up with a very interesting ship that way. We'll see what happens. Why are you doing 23 knots rather than 28? AI might be on, but I want the ship to be going the maximum speed it can do, because that's going to make their job more difficult to the opponent. They are trying to keep at range. At the moment, I do believe they are out of range, but they do know where their opponent is. It's when you realise that any two turrets probably have equal weight of fire as the entire battleship they're engaging. That's when you really start to think of this as a case of, okay, so in this scenario, the Bismarck-esque ship should be already going, I'd rather not be here. Because that's 15, 16.5-inch guns. And that's 8. I have a feeling I'm about to blow up. If anyone wants to press the "you sunk my battleship" thing, would probably be the time to do it. Again, it's just the German battleship just. Let's go look at her. See if there's any damage being done to her. Yeah. It's that deck, isn't it? It's that little turtleback. It's that turtleback. It just makes them. Don't take it the wrong way, but I'm so tempted to produce it as the Queen Elizabeth class the Super Queen as a turtleback and just see what happens now. Just to go, yeah, I'm changing mine for a turtleback now and see what happens, and just watch them blast each other away for hours.
You sunk my battleship.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Garrus. I have a feeling that my battleship will be sunk very shortly. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Hang on. How is this turret still alive? How has nothing cooked off? It costs bits. I have no idea what bits are. So I just set it up, as with the autos. But if people don't like it, if people would like me to change it, just tell me and I will change it. Oi. My poor battleship. You're so pretty. You were so pretty and so lovely at the beginning, and now look at you. Counter flood. Counter flood. Why do we have no At what point were we in 40mm range that you guys have used all your ammunition up, or did it cook off? The entire 40mm ammunition stock has cooked off. Ah. Bits are a way of one of the... Ah, so they're like super chats from YouTube. It's like, I've not yet got used to the whole thing of how you control and if you can stop... what do you call them? Adverts playing in the live, because I don't mind adverts playing in a recorded video, but it's in the live I find them a bit annoying if they start playing, but I'm not sure. That's the 40mm ammunition cooking off. Enemy has managed to achieve 5,000 damage. I've managed to achieve less than 1,000. Ouch. Ah, I will go to my settings and I will sort these things out. I'm enjoying learning how to use Twitch because I do think for doing things like this, when I'm talking history and all that, it's fun. I do have a feeling this is going to be sunk. Mainly because they're just this. She looks intact. This thing has taken a full broadside at close range from an 18-inch gun battleship, though. Ooh. And by the way, just before anyone starts, and I have all explained just to Gareth, they explained sort of wonders why I'm drinking fizzy drinks at the moment. It's because, to be honest, the only thing I can keep down. Sisters should not be allowed to cook. I'm worried about my battleship now. That is just... You're in trouble. There is, I think, no way you come back from this. At least we haven't got into secondary range. At no point have we got into secondary range. This I am happy with. We haven't got anywhere near torpedo range, secondary range at all. We have kept firmly in primary range. I am going to play around with the other option of conversion after this and see what the other, if we converted it with, we put more money and more tonnage from our limited tonnage into superstructure and got rid of one of the turrets, what would have happened? Oh, good lord, that's good. Good of you, just keep firing. Medley then she goes down from 15 to 12 guns, but if she's more likely to hit, then it's better to have 12 guns which hit the target than 15 guns which keep missing the target. Hey. Oh, good lord. Das Friesen's almost out of ammunition. She has 286 of her high explosive ammo, 46 of that. Whereas I have a lot of... Oh, good lord. There is a theoretical possibility that I could win this by by just the German ship running out of ammunition and us keep firing at her. But at that point, I do think she can close into secondary range and probably muller me before I can do anything with her. If I was them, I'd be wanting to close into secondary range before I ran out of 15-inch ammunition, so that I could still be using them as close range kill systems. But you know, that's just me. Attrition is not fun. No, attrition is not fun. But if it allows you to win, a win is a win, King's Rook. Like I said to my... Well, when I was playing basketball in secondary school, a GCSE year in the UK, so I must have been about 16. And we just kept scoring 3-pointers. And I took the idea from an episode of One Tree Hill, which I'd watched with my cousins, where it was a case of we weren't going to win on the dunks. We were not. Neither of us were the good teams in the school. It was an inter-school thing. The best basketball players were all belonged to one of the houses, and I was in Raleigh House, and they were all in. The best basketball players were all in sort of, I forget which of the houses it was, but it wasn't the one we were up against. And basically, we just decided, look, we can do 3-pointers. If we try and get into that area, we will lose control of the ball because we're trying to push it. So we'll just go for 3-pointers. And we just kept doing 3-pointers the whole time. And so we won. On points. It wasn't spectacular. No one was going to be shouting and singing our praises in terms of the style or skill or the brilliance of our dunks or anything like that. But we won. Because we kept control of the ball and we kept doing 3-pointers. It allowed us to play a far more defensive game because we never had to push anyone as far down into the end zone, into sort of their basket area, end zone, as we could keep in ours. They still have shells left. Okay. So. I've got a 0% chance of hitting a target, apparently. How? I have got... What is it not liking about this ship that is going as a 0% chance of hitting its target? Let's slow down the speed to normal speed. That really does look slow motion after the other one. But, the hull's not performing too badly. %5 now. This is going to be out of ammunition not that long way from. It's a bug. Brother has reported it a number of times. Yeah, there appears to be some sort of bug going on here. I love playing this game, but there is a reason I do my testing in Harpoon, not in this. There is a reason I use Harpoon for testing, not this. Well, there's no target for me to switch on to because, you know, it's only this one. Okay. AI back in charge. I must have disabled the AI from being in charge. This looks functionally undamaged. This looks functionally crippled. Admittedly, the idea that any scenario emerges where a British battleship and a German battleship are engaging mano a mano, it means a lot's gone wrong on the British side. Or it means that the joyous thing of either HMS Renown or HMS Rodney have managed to find their opponents. Because, let's be honest, Renown doesn't consider it a real battle unless it's mano on mano plus mano. And Rodney considers what the maximum speed limit, any sort of idea of maximum speed to be a guidance rather than an actual limitation. I think it might be a scrub and restart situation, but I want to see what happens. Mainly because, yeah, that's now saving his ammunition. And skirting at maximum range. Sir Dalrymple Hamilton, Seneca Dalrymple Hamilton unlocks warp speed if he's on a big ship for one ship for too long. Yeah, something along those lines. He certainly unlocks something when he's on a ship for long enough. I'm not sure, but I think I'm approaching from their stern. Interesting if I get into 4.5 inch range. Ooh, that wasn't good. I didn't need another hit sternwards. You notice I am trying to keep a very specific angle. I'm basically doing something which they couldn't actually functionally do, but I can do in this game. Which is why I tend to leave it on AI control to make it more fair, because it's AI versus AI. But, yeah. I have now lost my central tower again. I am following in. I'm using their own shells to guide me in. Not a tactic I recommend anyone to actually do unless they're pretty much already given up on the game and think they're going to lose. Because I'm basically chasing their shells. Not really a sensible maneuver to do. And if I'm wincing every time the shells are coming in, that's because doing this maneuver actually, to an extent, guides you into the enemy shells. Not a good, again, not a good thing to do. And it's not long before I am down to 4.5-inch gun range. The fact I'm managing to not be hit so far is luck. Ooh, very lucky, Garius. Very, very lucky. You see, the thing is, we used to have a neighbour who would do this lovely Peshwari naan. Unfortunately, they've moved. They've actually moved down to Cornwall. And are actually neighbours with some other of my family down there now. So, you know, we miss them. We see them when we go down to Cornwall, but it's kind of cruel, because they used to be our supply of Peshwari naan. Now they're my cousin's supply of Peshwari naan. And I like Peshwari naan. Oh, yes. Fresh biryani has got me onto Peshwari naan. That's out of ammo. That's only got like 50 shells left. So that could be actually out of its ammo. Admittedly, at this range, it can't friggin' miss. But neither should I really be able to be missing much at this range. It's literally about 2 more salvos I'll have to weather of their main guns. And then I have to keep myself out of secondary range while keeping myself in primary gun range, when I've got a maximum speed of less knottage. Available speed 17 knots. Yeah, I wish this had engineering repair packages. They're completely out of ammo. Oh. There is the 5.9-inch gun range. Down at 12.9 kilometers. So. I think. What's that range? Oh. My secondary is a longer range than theirs. But I need to catch them. So this could be a technical win for me because they've run out of ammunition. Santa Canary, in my experience, if food is a good staple of food for a bigger culture, it's usually pretty good. If it's delicacy in a small region, stay away from it. Yeah, but there are some which are pretty good. You know, I personally am not the biggest fan of deep fried Mars bars, but I know why people like them. I think I'm now in 5.9 inch range. But I'm also well in 4.5 inch range. Yeah, all this damage has been done since they ran out of shells. I'm going to win this battle, but it's not through actually being a better design. It's them running out of shells. Okay, this is the entire reason I won that battle, was them running out of shells and me keeping going. No, we're going to design ship and we're going to go back and see what we can do to fix this. So let's see. We take off that. Ooh, that's good. Secondary tower. Take off that. That goes. Let's see if that improves things. So, anything else I can do to make this ship slightly faster? I'm going to take the beam down a bit more. Can I do 1.6, 1.7? A little bit better. And maximum bulkheads always helps. We've still got plenty of weight to go, so we can actually improve this scenario a fair amount. And we need to put on some more of these other secondaries, don't we? So we'll put in our triple barreled, because we've got none of the octuple barreled and our lovely things which were actually fitted. And we want to put them up there. And then there. And let's see, where can I fit the single barrel ones? Or ooh. No, I can't fit them there or there. Let's put some single barreled in there. I've managed to go overweight with single barrel pom-poms. That's just absurd and slightly impossible to do, but you know, that's life. And I've got so many multi-barrel ones as well. They're also taking me overweight. Yeah. HMS default victory. Yeah. HMS default victory. That would be lovely. 4-way offset 3.2%. Halfway offset. This is starting to look a very nice, mean ship. We'll give it another go. Let's launch and see what happens this time. The bug regarding zero aim didn't help. No, that didn't help at all. That didn't help at all. But now this is looking very Queen Elizabeth class. Although those would be in 12, 16.5 inch guns would have been... Well, let's be honest. I had an interesting time today because I was doing a naval battle, and it's a naval battle which, let's see, has it gone live yet? He says quickly checking that the thing gone. It's up. Yeah, it should be going live shortly. It'll go live this evening at 8 o'clock, today's recorded video. It's 2 hours long, and it's all about blockading Brest. And, yes, any of you who think that only HMS Warspite in Warspite of the Queen Elizabeth class generation was the only one with her own ideas about what to do and when to do it, there's the fact that the captain of HMS Warspite at the Battle of Quiberon Bay has some similar points to make. Something like goulash and chili are the same idea from different cultures. I can see that, but to be fair, I prefer chili to goulash. And that primarily could be because I've only ever had very badly made goulash, whereas I've had some quite nice chili. A Super Orion, Iron Duke or a Super Orion? Let's be honest. If the British had gone with the Ellswick Ordnance Company's 14-inch guns, either as for HMS Dreadnought, which they actually could have looked at it, well, let's put it this way. The 14-inch 45s from Ellswick Ordnance Company were available at the same time as HMS Dreadnought was being planned out. They go with, to save money, the same guns they have from the Lord Nelsons, which are the 12-inch guns in turrets. Which is why Dreadnought really has 5 Lord Nelson turrets rather than 5 proper Dreadnought turrets, as we'd understand them. But it would have been interesting if they'd gone with the 14-inch guns. It might have delayed her introduction. It might not have. She knocked that one off quite quickly. Let's go see how the Germans' vessel's doing. Oh, not quite as intact as it was previously, but still doing pretty darn well. She has got, well, I said, theoretically twice the weight of fire of her opponent. Because that's got 8 15-inch guns, and this has got 12 16.5-inch guns. And theoretically, to get similar weight of fire, you'd be going a quadruple turret to a triple turret. But it's an interesting idea to think about. If you start off, well, let's say you go back to Dreadnought and you go, right then, we know super firing turrets work, because we do know if the one interesting thing from the lovely Jackie Fisher study said was, if he'd realised that he could mount a turret to fire over another turret, and he didn't think it was technologically possible, but he soon learnt it was, and soon learnt that the people who had been arguing that it was possible when he was looking at designing Dreadnought were right, he would have built it like that. If you can imagine a Dreadnought built with an HMS Dreadnought built with 5 triple 14-inch guns, and what that starts the whole naval race off at, if you've got that as your opening part, well, then you'd find your Dreadnoughts would quickly become as defined as vessels with more than 2 guns in their turrets, because, what's the point of building a Dreadnought with twin turrets when there's HMS Dreadnought out there herself has triple turrets? And just think of the way the Royal Navy and the rest of the world changes if the HMS Dreadnought starts off with 14-inch guns. Because then at what point can the Germans go around and go, you know what, our 11-inch guns are as good as the British 12-inch guns? You can maybe make that case. And you can make that case because of various, depending on how you're judging their operating parameters, etc., you can make that case. But when you've got a 14-inch gun, a 14-inch 45 from Ellswick's Ordnance Company, the odds are that's going to be a lot better than an 11-inch gun. And if you consider how the Germans had to react when the 13.5-inch gun came into service versus the 11-inch gun, the odds are the Germans are going to have to react by trying to match that, which is going to slow the German introduction of Dreadnought battleships. You have the reality that all the other ships which are being under construction, which are semi-Dreadnoughts or sort of heading towards Dreadnoughts, are all armed with 12-inch guns. So immediately they're out of the running already, because they come into service, well, of course, they're not even Dreadnoughts, they're not even semi-Dreadnoughts, they're armed with 12-inch guns, Dreadnought's got 14-inch. And the world changes dramatically if Jackie Fisher just makes those 2 changes. You also end up with something going around which has a broadside of 15 14-inch guns, a forward firing of 6 forward-inch guns, 6 aft firing and a centerline one, and it's like an Iron Duke or so basically an Orion before Orion. And that could have been built in 1905, 1906. That could have been built. And that would change the entire run-up to World War One, because it would then change the construction of the battlecruisers. It would change the response of everyone else. It would change the arithmetic on the Dreadnoughts, because the British would probably be building their second batch of Dreadnoughts before anyone else was really starting, because it's going to be about a year to 2 years before anyone else starts building. So even if the Germans do lay down 4, they're not going to have the guns or anything for them. And if the Germans build a Dreadnought which has 11-inch guns, the British are going to go, cute. It takes all the heat out of it. So at that point, you actually could have a Dreadnought achieve what Fisher wanted it to achieve, which was buy time for peace, and hopefully make the threat of war just so scary that no one wants to actually engage in war. Goodness gracious me! Now this is different. So we've lost the turret, and we've added in the extra system at the back that provides it with the ability to aim more, because it's got a secondary fire control and how that improves the accuracy, etc. And now we've got a scenario where Irresistible is going along pretty much almost undamaged, and Ostfriesland is practically sunk. Weight of fire. Sheer weight of fire. Admittedly, it might be helpful that they fixed the bug, but still. She has again fired a lot of her shells. She has fired a lot of her shells. Whereas this has still got quite a lot of shells to go. But it does fire at slightly. Well, it fires 12 in a salvo. Is the aft turret still firing? Is the aft turret going to fire? Is the aft turret going to fire? What do you think? Been pretty beat up. It might still fire though. Volume of fire is accuracy all of its own. Now we're changing to a parallel course and we are going closer because, well, we might as well. Should allow all guns to concentrate fire. I think the aft turret is still firing. Or at least it's still manoeuvring as if it is. Oh, we've been caught and fired on. I think we were in secondary range for a short while there. Not necessarily the best for them. Oh, good lord, that was a turret hit. Direct hit on a turret. Forward turret could be about to go boom. Nope, didn't. See what I mean about closing being a gamble? My decision to close was to basically finish this off and see what happened. And unfortunately, I didn't wait till they'd lost enough on their ammunition. They still have 200 shells left, so that's 25 salvos. Yeah, I should have waited a bit longer. There again, though. Yeah, gone. Aft turret is firing. You see, the thing is, you need both volume of fire, as I put in my own Green Boys video. You need volume of fire. You also need, to an extent, and I want to try this again now with the 18-inch design. Agincourt, hello, my pretty. Oh, you're gorgeous. She does look good. She does look good, doesn't she? She does. She's got twin 4.5s in all the right places. In all the right places, she has twin 4.5s. Now, let's put this up against this one again and launch and see what happens. Oh, it is nice. Now, seriously, if Agincourt really would have been an 18-inch gun ship, that would have scared the bejesus out of the world. Well, wouldn't really. The Americans would have built something quite massive, and probably it would have changed. It would have changed the nature of the naval treaties, because if she can't, basically, for Agincourt to have been built, World War I would have had to hold off to them in 1915, 1916. Instead of 1914, by which point the German Navy would not have been matching British build in any way, shape or form for the last couple of years. So when she enters the world, she would be the most powerful ship in the world, probably. But also the fact is, after any war, the odds are the Japanese and the Americans both have 18-inch gun ships in service. You get hit by any of these 18-inch shells, you're going to be in trouble. Let's see what happens. Ooh. No, turret still firing. Turret damage, but turret still firing. But the thing is, if you do have one of these in service, you know, the odds are the Americans are building an 18-inch battleship, the Japanese are building an 18-inch battleship, and World War II becomes the story between the 18-inch super heavies and probably a debate between whether it's a 14-inch or a 16-inch battleship. Basically, fast battleship, which is designed to do rapid fire deluge operations, because it's probably a case of, you know, we've got something with twin 18-inch, 18-inch in 4 twin turrets, or we've got the option of 12 16-inch guns in 4 triple turrets, or 16 14-inch guns in 4 quadruple turrets. Pick your poison. Again, they appear to be doing a better job of hitting the target. I hope you don't mind, but I think I'm going to restart, go check on this, because I'm wondering why it's not hitting the target. It's run out of armor piercing already. Let's go check on this one. What's happened? Not sure why Data got upgraded to spacious. What should we do with you guys? So that's 25 tons. A 4.5 inch is 42 tons for that, 56 tons for that. So I can take off those. And that's same weight of fire broadly on the sides, but it gives me slightly more. It gives me the same salvo percentage, but saves me some weight. Gives me an extra 300 tons. Where am I going to deploy that 300 tons? You might be asking. Yes, well, I've got ideas of where to deploy that 300 tons. Inner deck, that's fine. Inner belt, dun 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 dun. Put these up to the same level they were on the Super Queen, if I can. Ooh, I've got an 11.1 inch. Can I go any higher? 11.2 inches. I think I'll take them down to 11. See if I can put this up a bit. Can I get up to 15? Ooh. I'm 2 tons over. Oh, caramba. No. Terrible, terrible, terrible. 4-inch guns are doing that. Okay. Well, I want them to be 4.5. And they've got to be... To get them up to... That'll do. As close as I can get them. Oh, I'm going to need to take down the weight again. Okay. Dang, I was enjoying having that up to that. Reinforced bulkheads down to 2. Hang on, well that's quite useful. That's a lot of extra weight. What can I do with that? Can I do anti-flood? Yes, I can. Can I get this up again? Put that up to 2.5, up to 2.8 will do, nicely. And get this up to 15 inch. Well, can I go higher? For the barbette, how high can I go? Can I reach? Yes, I've got 16-inch barbettes. Yep, that's a very solid now ship. And that's a very, very, very solid vessel. Half weight offset 2.4%. That is a very, very solid vessel. That's just getting better and better and better. And cuter. Definitely cuter. Now, let's see. So, coincidence rangefinders, rangefinder greatest length to big is this. 110% to gun aiming speed, 50% to gun base accuracy. Plus 60% to gun aiming speed, 37.5% to gun long range accuracy, negative 30% shell splashes interference from own guns, negative 45 spell splash interference from other guns. Is it me, or is it loaded kind of in heavily in advantage of the stereoscopic rangefinder? Because This should theoretically find it faster and give you the better at that, at the advantage. Oh, what the cruise and the real cruisers look like in this alternate timeline. If you've got in a timeline where the Queen Elizabeth class is sufficiently altered and there is an 18-inch cruiser, an 18-inch HMS Agincourt, then I have a feeling. I do not think that you have 7.5-inch guns chosen for the Hawkins. I think they're going to be 9.2-inch guns or something like that. So possibly the limitation for cruisers becomes 10-inch guns, and maybe someone tries to make the 10-inch gun actually work. Goodness gracious me, that'd be fun. Someone actually trying to make the 10-inch gun work, because as I've said before, the 10-inch gun is a problem because the 10-inch gun is. That's blockading Brest gone live. No, it hasn't. Sorry, blockading Brest hadn't gone live like it was supposed to at 8 o'clock. I was just checking, and it didn't. But no, if it's one of those things. If it had been properly done, it would have been very interesting. But I don't think they'd have made a 10-inch gun a decent cruiser. So I think you'd have ended up with everyone actually building the theoretical limitation for cruisers being 10 inches. Probably capital ships being settled at a limitation of capital ships functionally will be 14 inches or higher, with 14-inch being the bare minimum. Because if your cruiser can do 10 inches, and that's going to be the limitation, no one's going to want to have a 12-inch battleship. Because people are going to look at it going, oh, you might as well just, why are you building that? What use is that in an advantage realistically versus a sufficiently armed cruiser? But I think functionally the cruisers end up with 9.2-inch gun as the top gun, as the top gun. And let's go check on our German counterpart. Launch. Now, I'm still not sure why it wasn't hitting its target earlier. Because that's a fairly stable platform. Hi, Sean. WITP has got real things out. I didn't save Scam when one of my arrows got hit with two videos, and it'll be out for a year. I saved when I saved when I lost one oiler because my operations can't survive that. Yeah, war in the Pacific. You lose a carrier, that's annoying. You lose oilers, that's that's an issue. It's always logistics. It is always logistics. Right, I'm just going to be naughty and use my phone to check that it's actually working in terms of my channel at the moment. In terms of... not that. No, I need to check my channel. Oh, good lord, we sunk the Germans. Or no, did we get sunk? We lost... Did I just miss something? How did that fricking happen? We missed almost every single shot. Let's go back to this and design. Check this design again. Agincourt sank. I was just so shocked. Here was me quickly checking to see if the video's gone live like they're supposed to. And it has 8:15 rather than 8 o'clock, but it's gone live. That's good. And we've got sunk. I was looking at something else when it got... It wasn't expected... How? Okay. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to test something out. Hang on. Let me just go. They're 18-inch 48 guns. And there are 12 of those. Now let's see. We can take that down to that. We want its beam is as narrow as it can be. We want it to be 28 knots. Draft. Can we make that as narrow as it can be? Pitch and roll. Let's see what happens. Roll goes down, but pitch goes up. Pitch goes down, but roll goes up. Let's be honest, the difference, four-way offset, 1.9%. Let's see, just keep moving around. Notice how the four-weight, etc. is moving. There you go. How's Lesbian? How you doing? So anyway, I swear my South Pacific Task Force is like, yes. Wherever it appears, all the oil disappears. They have already worked through the entirety of the majority of South Pacific lines. They've just drained all New Zealand. Now they are about to start working on Australia. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's like when you're dealing with any South Pacific fleet. It's just, it's gonna be what it's like. Standard ratio shells. Heavy. All these things are at maximum, I think? Yeah, they are. Yeah, this thing is a freaking tank. And I mean that in the nicest... I mean that in a very nice way. But it is a tank. It is an absolute tank. Why did they have him at 18H49? Why would you put a gun at 49? 48 maybe, 45 probably, 42 most likely. Because let's be honest, the upgrade from 42 is to 45. We're going to set these at 45s. It doesn't seem to matter what I do to them, they aren't going down. So they're supposed to be. So I'm gonna say that's right, but I have no idea if it actually is right. There you go. Nah. I could remove them all and try again, but... well, let's see. Ship is overweight. By 17 tons. No, they're 48s. Let's come down to about 45. 45s is what I think I'm going to aim for them. Oh, so that's given me a few hundred tons to play with, and the halfway offset is up again. Ah, goodness gracious me! At this rate, I'll be moving things into everything. How will I deal with that one? Does give them a far better rate of field of fire. Wonder if we can. What can we do? What can we do? That's all good. That's all good. Yeah. Enhanced reloading. Semi-auto loading and only gets me 2 tons over. What is worth 2 tons to me? Oh yeah, the conning tower losing that is so worth it to me. Yep. Our merchant cruisers. Yeah. Don't worry, Shormac. You are turning over to the dark side. Turning to all sorts of things that, frankly, yes. Let's see if in a world where 18-inch guns are the limit, a theoretical 18-inch gun battleship, what does Conqueror do? All or nothing armor? We'll see. We will see. Oh. Are your ship designs available to others to review? I'm not sure how to set that up on UAD. If I could, it's like I want to set up so Timberborn maps can be shared as well. I'm currently looking into it. So if someone knows how you can share designs on UAD and on Timberborn, please do tell me, because I have seen some people who have managed to share designs, but I haven't seen if I've been able to share designs. And I'm always happy to, because frankly, I enjoy doing it. And I enjoy doing this stuff, and I enjoy answering questions, and I enjoy mucking around in this game, because whilst I use Harpoon for my accuracy testing thing, this is a lot of fun to do, and it's quick and dirty. I have got 9 18-inch guns bearing in on you. You should be, by now, hold to belief. Oh, okay, yes, we are doing some actual maneuvering. That's good. Some actual maneuvering is going on. Let's see what Conqueror does. In a real-in-the-world scenario where HMS Agincourt is built and has 6 or 8 18-inch guns, goodness gracious me, the world changes dramatically. They're both hanging out in each other's maximum ranges. This is starting to look more like a battle with between an 18-inch gunship and a 15-inch gunship. Broadly speaking. It's a pleasure, Leslie. It's one of those things. I know there are lots of people who do talk about community, etc., on YouTube and all these other things in a sort of as if it's a sort of dirty word. But I like the idea of it. Well, as I said, I've always approached YouTube like it's my uni classes, like they're the various things I do in them when I'm teaching various points of uni. And so I do sort of like the sort of to try and generate as much as the sort of community atmosphere you get in a well-run university, where people build friendship groups and people do check in on each other. You know, even people who weren't exactly, I would say, the closer friends, but more colleagues, acquaintances of the class. You'd always check up on them if they look bad. You know, if you walked into the library and you saw one of your colleagues from your class looking like, oh, good lord, they look like they're suffering, you'd go and check on them. Because that's what you do. Because you're all in the same boat. Well-run universities. Yes, I know, Garrus. You and I have similar opinions. They are rare. But I know a couple. A couple which do foster that atmosphere. Or rather, departments within the universities which foster that atmosphere. Oh, good lord, how's this happened? How? Is it this turtleback armor? No, it's just... The British ships don't seem to hit their targets at all. Okay. I'm going to just try something. Just try something. Okay? I'm wondering if it is the rangefinder. If the system doesn't like the coincidence rangefinder that much. So let's see, we now got the armor spread over this area. That looks better because that covers the whole engine. Half weight offset 1.4%. Secondary guns 4.5 inch again because I prefer them to the 5. So I suppose I could be putting 5.25s on here. Half weight offset. Pardon me. Now though. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, sort of. Let's see if we can't bump up the speed just a tad. Full weight offset. That's what I just had there, right? So how is the ship now overweight? Like the CS French at Hatfield Polytechnic. Yeah. One of the unis I teach at is a former polytechnic. Well, the best part of it is. Let's see again. This thing is blooming supreme. It's disturbing. Now, a reminder that next Friday's UAD won't be happening because I'll be setting up a centre for Justin Craig, the A-level and GCSE revision company I occasionally go and work for. So next Friday, instead of playing this, I will be putting up tables and chairs and making sure everything's organised for teachers to come in the following morning. It'll be fun. I get a few days in a travel lodge in central London, so I will be spending, as I said, most of my time going to see HMS Belfast and going, isn't she pretty? It's actually kind of late in the year for me to start spending off time down there, because normally I'm there over February half term by now. So let's see. It's got stereoscopic, right? So they've now got the exact same targeting system. Other than this has the better radar, and this has the this is the better radar system, because it would have had the better radar system, because the Germans' radar systems are all one-off bespoke models. Most of them, they make in some sense the German naval radar procurement makes some of the Italian procurement look absolutely factory mass-produced. You had a great day on Belfast with Drac. That is good. A day aboard Belfast with Drac is good. Okay. Now, please note, that is a very thick belt armor, a belt, on a ship. So gun accuracy, single, any of N. By my count, that should be getting hits then. This thing's been hit by an 18-inch shell and seems to have survived. I'm not sure how this is rocking 18-inch shells and still surviving. Oh, right. Here's a bit of a request for you all. I've been basically surviving on a liquid diet all day because it's the only thing I can seem to keep down. Considering I don't want to run the risk, I don't feel like cooking myself and don't want to run the risk of anyone else in my family cooking for me, what advice do we have for a takeaway for someone who has had a very, very bad stomach for the last couple of days? Any advice? Chinese with ginger. Mm-hmm. Tempting. Definitely tempting. If I could find a nice ginger chicken in my on any of my local deliveries, I'd be very happy. How is it This is the same rangefinder. Chinese seems to be popular. Oh. Oh, good lord. You see, this is the thing. This is why I get surprised whenever an 18-inch battleship gets sunk by something with only 15-inch guns. Because if you get an actual hit with any of the 18-inch shells, Lord help anyone on the receiving end. Because there really is a functional scenario that if you get hit by 18-inch shells, there isn't much that can be done for you. You know, that's the real problem with Yamato and Musashi. If they actually hit you, if your battleship gets hit by an 18-inch shell, you might survive one shell hitting, but you won't survive more than one shell hitting, because they're having to actually lower their guns to try and hit me. Ooh. Please let some of these hit, but I think they're going to go over. They all went over. Again, I don't know how they're going over. And again, look at the state that chip's in, and I bet it's going to score actual hits. Is on fire. Oh, good lord, look. You know, that is the scenario at which we functionally call it's time to abandon ship. Okay? Please note, in reality, if water is doing that, you're going to have a lot of water coming inside. And in fact, if anyone has ever spent time on a ship, if a captain's in a scenario where that much of his aft is awash, they're having problems. Again, this is not exactly great. All the 4.5-inch ammunition has blown up. All the 4.5-inch ammunition has, well, that's the only reason I can, has gone. How, I don't know. That one single 4.5-inch gun got hit, and that seems to have taken out all the ammunition with it. It's just the sun moving across. You know, I do realise German ships were very good. And in World War One, they got home with more water on their decks than this. But there's a difference between getting home and still fighting. No. Come on. In the nicest way, if your ship was doing that, if your ship was leaning at that angle, if you fired those guns, you'd be tipping it more into the water. You'd also be permanently going round in a circle. Look at that! There is virtually no way that thing's still floating. That's bad enough. That's got all its secondary ammunition left. It's got none of its armor-piercing ammunition left. Only high-explosive ammunition left. This has armor-piercing and high-explosive left. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But honestly, how is this... How are either of these ships still functioning? So they're not firing. And please tell me this ship is not doing a great speed, because if it is, then I am going to be so annoyed with this game's AI. It's at... How in the name of all things holy it's got 2 engines damaged, and you're expecting me to believe that's going still at full speed? Let's go to normal speed. So we're doing functioning 22 knots. And that's matching us for speed, and we've got all engines working. So all engines working, all steering gear working, and yet somehow you expect me to believe this is matching our speed to the point at which we can't turn it. Shumak, I'm not even reading that one out. I'm not reading it out for fear someone would actually use that as a quote. It's just... no. Seriously, if you look up this ship design and you compare it to the frigating N3, and the sheer amount of steel that had on it, this one actually has more steel. I'm so tempted to build a turtleback now. I know you're trolling, Seanback. I am so tempted to build it as a turtleback and just just see what happens. I always need more iron brew. No, I literally do need more iron brew. I've been having to survive off iron brew and coke for the last couple of days because that's all I can keep down. So literally I have run quite close on iron brew. Thank you! 18-inch shell hit. Okay, again. This ship should not be able to fight. Under any circumstances. How is it managing to fire its guns? Yeah, instead of closing with you, I am just using my speed to pull away. Again, how is it managing to hit anything? It just got hit again by another 18-inch shell. How is it still afloat? How is it, let alone how is it getting a full broadside hit at that angle? Yeah. I'm not surprised it's finally sunk. What I'm surprised is by the frick it's still afloat. It's still fighting. Oh god, it's comically accurate. Getting hits like that on a ship in a tight turn like that would be impressive. Yeah! So, I'm going off to see if I can eat some food this evening. I'm going to say thank you very much to everyone for watching this evening. Thank you, Leslie, thank you, Garius, thank you, Sean Mack, thank you, King's Rook, thank you... I think Guardsman was on as well. And I see Deadman was on, and I think Guardsman was on at some point. I seem to remember seeing Guardsman chatting away. And yeah, thank you everyone for being on, and thank you. I hope you had a nice evening, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Seneca. Toodles, everyone. And yes, there will be another stream tomorrow probably because I am banking up some extra streaming hours so Twitch doesn't get upset with me when I take basically a week off to do the Justin Craiging, because I don't want to do any lives from a travel lodge after last time. That was just not fun. Take care, everyone. Have fun, and thank you for watching. Take care.